Hey there everyone, welcome back to the guide. Next up in the series we'll be taking a look at what's required to get into the Spirit Temple. If you've been following along through the series, we just finished up Shadow, and we'll be moving on to the last major temple in Ocarina of Time. Our first stop in this video will be to head to Gerudo Valley, which is a completely new area that we have not yet seen in our series here. If you've been running around the game, you may have just kind of discovered it on your own by now. I went ahead and warped to Lake Hylia. I believe this is the closest warp that I have to Gerudo Valley. So we'll go ahead and zoom along here at 400% speed once again. We'll go ahead and cross the lake, and we'll re-enter Hyrule Field and sort of hug the left-hand wall here. And as you can see, we'll sort of enter this kind of canyon area. The ground and the walls will start to turn pretty red. And this here, as I said, is going to be Gerudo Valley. And early on in the game, you can come to this area, at least this sort of entrance part of this area, pretty early on in the game. However, you really have no way of crossing this bridge until you either have the hookshot or have Epona. If you have Epona, and I don't have Epona yet in my guide here, but you can actually make this jump with her, which is a pretty cool thing to do. And in fact, for a long time, I thought it was the only way that you could do that. But it turns out this sign right here is actually a hookshot target. So me having the hookshot, of course, I will go ahead and jump on over. And I will continue the rest of the way to Gerudo Fortress. You might have seen that tent there on the right-hand side. That's where the carpenters stay, or would be staying. But we'll soon find out that they actually entered Gerudo Fortress because they wanted to join the group there. But they were imprisoned. And we'll actually be busting him out of jail here in a few seconds. Me standing around there was actually me waiting for daytime to start, because I really wanted the song to play while we were here in Gerudo's Fortress, because the time is frozen here. So unfortunately I went in just a few seconds too early and the song didn't actually start. So I did the only rational thing and I just walked right back the way I came. Came back out here where the time is flowing normally. And now we got the song playing, and now we can truly begin Gerudo's Fortress. This area is just not the same without the song going, so... Alright, so here we go. This is a big labyrinth, big maze-like fortress. And the stressful part about this area is these guards are kind of like the guards that we saw back at the beginning of the game in Hyrule Castle, and they will actually capture you. And I kind of went ahead and got myself captured on purpose there just to see it happen at least one time. And I'll show you how you can get out of this cell and where we need to be going here in Gerudo Fortress. This is probably one of the harder areas in the game. I'm just going to go ahead and just be prepared for that. This area is pretty tough. Just avoiding guards and just not getting lost in this crazy place while you try to find all of the jail cells here. As you can see, we've just stumbled upon our first one. There's one of the carpenters inside. I'm going to go ahead and skip through all of their dialogue. It's pretty pointless what they have to say, but whenever you go up and talk to them, a Gerudo fighter here with 2 swords is going to spawn each time we talk to one of these carpenters. And what's really tough about these fighters here, these gals with the swords, is they have a jump attack where they'll jump and spin around, and if you get hit by that, you're immediately knocked out and you're captured. So, like, not only are they pretty dangerous just as an enemy, they have an attack that can force you to... It's over. You're captured. You basically have to start over. You're thrown into the jail cell. You have to escape again, and all the guards respawn, and it's pretty rough. But as you can see there, I was able to take her out, and I was able to pick up the key that she drops, and I was able to release that one carpenter, and we're able to move on to the next. So as you can see, I'm sort of in and out of these buildings because there's really no staircases to be found on the outside, the exterior of the fortress. So if you want to get up to the higher levels, you have to like go inside and try to find which interior area has the staircases that will kind of lead to the upper areas. And it's, like I said, it's a pretty confusing layout. But anyway, here we are in the second jail cell now. Again, spawning us another Gerudo thief for us to fight. And I have found quite a bit of success jump slashing at those enemies. As you can see there, I was able to do 2 in a row. The thing about jump slashing at the thieves, though, is you really kind of need to do it from far away. If you're very close to them and you try to do a jump slash, they have a tendency to like get behind you. It's almost like they sidestep and all of a sudden they're behind you and they're slashing you in the back. But if you do it from pretty much as far back as you possibly can while still hitting them, the attacks get through pretty consistently, I've found. So give that a try if you're having trouble fighting them. Other than that, make sure you defend against those big jump attacks. You don't see me do it a whole lot, I guess just because I've fought them so many times, but you really should have your shield up anytime you're not attacking, because they can get that nasty jump attack off on you really quick, like maybe faster than you can react, and to get hit by that and sent back to jail for it is really, really frustrating. After running around the fortress and finally finding the jail cell, maybe it's the last jail cell that you have to find, and you finally get there, and then you get knocked down because you didn't have your shield up. So yeah, make sure you defend. Don't let yourself get into that situation. Anyway, that was the third carpenter there. And I don't know if you saw it while I was blabbing about getting hit by the jump attack. There, while I was doing my jump attacks, there was one instance in that last fight where I did it much too close, and she did spin around all quick, and she got behind me and got a hit off for free. Oh yeah, that was funny. I definitely didn't want to go that way. If you head up that ramp and head out that door, you kind of poke your head out right there, and there's like 3 guards standing right there, and it's like, oh, that was not the right way to go. I'll just head back the way I can. You kind of tilt your hat and, ladies, please excuse me. Yeah, luckily they're all facing the wrong way when you pop out that door right there, so you don't immediately get caught. This room right here is a little bit funny. By the way, yes, you can knock out the guards. Oh, I should have said that long ago. I'll have to do like a text pop-up that, yeah, you can knock out the guards. I've just kind of been avoiding them, but you can definitely knock them out. But yes, in that room, as you can see, I knocked out those 2 guards, and I was able to just like freely walk through that room. I believe you can equip the hover boots and sort of like glide across the upper level, but I always get scared that I'm going to get seen, so I usually just knock them out anyway. This hallway right here is particularly nasty, because if you kind of wrap around that box and start running down that hallway, this guard is the way it's just sort of timed. She's almost always walking directly at you after you first enter this area, and this is most likely going to be your final jail cell, so for you to almost be there and then get caught like in the last room, oh god. So yeah, as you could see there, I was able to, I kind of peeked around the corner because I wasn't 100% sure it was the hallway. I had a feeling, and then once I kind of saw that guard coming at me, I was able to kind of just stand in the corner, stand in the shadows, and wait for her to kind of pop her head around that box. So anyway, on to the final jail cell fight. I was actually pretty nervous on this fight, oddly enough. I had to do this area quite a few times to get a take for the video that I was relatively happy with. And right there, I was like, oh man, this is it. I'm afraid I'm going to get hit by that jump slash. And I actually blocked 2 of them in that fight there, just barely. It was kind of cutting a little bit close. But anyway, enough about that. As you can see, we were able to get the 4th carpenter out there, and then that Gerudo lady right there, I forget her name, I think she does tell you, but she says that she's like the 2nd in command of the fortress, and she's super impressed with our thieving skills. She actually invites us to be a part of the group, and she gave us some sort of note, which basically represents, we're now a part of the gang, if you will. And now that we've done that, we can actually, as you can see, we can run around the guards, and they don't seem to care anymore. So thank goodness for that. No more getting caught for us. And now that we've done that, we can now come up this ladder. Normally, if you try to do this before you complete all of that, you get to the top of this ladder, if I recall correctly, and then that person right there immediately captures you. So that's kind of not going to work, obviously. But now that we've got that apparently very important piece of paper, we can come up here and be like, hey, I'm a part of the group, I'd really like you to open that gate. She'll do that, and we'll be able to head out into the open desert. Kind of enjoy this little moment right here as you're walking through these gates. If you look off to the left, you'll see some shapes out in the desert. Yeah, those 2 things right there. What are those called? Like mesas, I think? But that is the area that we're heading to. That's That's Desert Colossus. That's where the Spirit Temple is, so it's kind of cool that you can see it from here. But first we got to get through the Haunted Wasteland. This is a pretty different area than what we were having to deal with there just a second ago. There's like a quicksand river right there that you have to hookshot across. And then once you get here, we're going to be dealing with, this is kind of like Lost Woods in a sense where if you don't go the right way, you're sort of teleported back to the beginning of this area. And you know which way to go by following these flagpoles, and they most certainly can be pretty difficult to see in the sandstorm. So kind of take your time. Like if you walk up to a flag, you can kind of maybe see up and take a good look around and try to see through all the sand so you can figure out where you want to go. Because again, if you mess up, you're kind of starting over. Eventually you'll find this building here. It's sort of an interesting little building. It's got a basement in it that has a skulltula in it, if you're interested. But otherwise, we'll come on up here, and there was that stone that referenced the Eye of Truth. And if you turn on the Eye of Truth, there's this ghost here that it says it's going to guide us through the desert. That's a pretty nice thing to do. It didn't have to do that. Thank you, nice guy ghost. So again, continuing to have the Eye of Truth on, this ghost is going to kind of zigzag around and just try not to go off to the side too much, because again, you will get teleported back to and have to do all this all over. It's pretty irrelevant, but following the ghost using the Eye of Truth, this is all kind of optional. If you have this area memorized, you actually can do it blindly. Speedrunners, of course, super slide through this area backwards without looking. It's very impressive. Me not being a speedrunner, we'll just go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. I actually did any percent for a short period of time. I think my best time was like 19 minutes or something like that. But anyway, this is not that kind of guide. You can see that ghost kind of getting far away there. Don't worry about that. Don't stress about it. And then the screen's going to go blank there. And if you're doing this for the first time, it's sort of scary because it looks like you messed up. I'm quite certain that when you go the wrong way in the Haunted Wasteland there, the screen fades out with that sandstorm-looking transition pretty much in the same way. So the first time you enter this area, it's like, oh man, did I mess up? But no, it looks like we got through. Here we are in Desert Colossus. And at the foot of that huge structure, that huge statue there, is going to be the Spirit Temple itself. And it's going to be open to us. So very cool. We'll be able to go right in. This time, however, we're going to find an interesting situation once we get into this first room. And I am going to go ahead and just run right on inside here. I'm not actually going to take a look around in this clip, but once you get in here, you'll probably notice pretty quickly that in that first room, there's just nothing you can do when you first enter Spirit Temple for the first time. And eventually, by design, I think, you're just sort of meant to give up. And when you exit the temple, you're actually going to get this cutscene. And Sheik's going to hop down and teach us the Requiem of Spirit. This will actually be our final teleport song in Ocarina of Time. And this is really cool. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to learn this song, head back to Temple of Time, become child, and then teleport directly here, which is an area that we never would have been able to get to as Child Link. We can't get through Gerudo Fortress. It's not an area that you're supposed to or meant to go through as child. But we just kind of like get around it. It's like a backdoor entrance. It's really cool to me. Kapora Gabora flying off there. I believe that's the only time you see him as Adult Link. But yeah, again, this is really neat to me. We'll be, as soon as this cutscene ends, we'll go ahead and head back to the Temple of Time, turn back to Child Link. While you were running around as Adult Link in that first area, you may have actually noticed that there's a crawl space there. And those crawl spaces are not something that you can enter as Adult Link. So that's sort of a little bit of a clue. And then also some of the stuff that Sheik said during that cutscene there. But anyway, we'll go ahead and play the Prelude of Light. Go ahead and warp back to the Temple of Time and become child again. I went ahead and skipped the always awesome cutscene of transforming back and forth between child and adult. Sometimes I hesitate while playing Requiem of Spirit because it's not a song that you play very much. It's like a song I play once per playthrough, and sometimes it's like, wait, how does that song go again? But yes, here we are. Check this out. We just teleported right behind Gerudo Fortress. And we'll go ahead and enter the temple and start it for real this time. So anyway, that's how you get into the Spirit Temple. Thank you so much for watching. It's kind of a long video considering that it doesn't really feel like we did a whole lot. It's just getting those carpenters out of those jail cells one at a time can take quite a long time. So I appreciate you hanging in there. Coming up next is going to be Spirit Temple itself. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.